Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. This is our final conversation this morning, but certainly not without being interesting. We are joined this morning by Shelly-Ann Solomon virtually, and she's a business and entrepreneurship coach. Well renowned for the work that she's doing, but I think what's interesting about this is we have her on Zoom. I'd like to know, Shelly, where you're tuning in from at this time, because you're a coach for not only persons where you are located, but also in the Caribbean at large.
Good morning, everyone. And I live on the beautiful twin island of Trinidad and Tobago.
Fantastic.
Which one of them?
Trinidad.
Okay, good.
Okay. Well, I love this conversation. You provide particularly, I'd say, mentorship and coaching to women. I guess that's fair to say is your target audience. But I think that this conversation could really benefit anyone, not just only women. Yes?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what coaching looks like when we think of providing this service, entrepreneurship, business planning, and a new means of expression that we're hearing now called location and time freedom. What does that look like?
Well, I'll start with my life, and then I can tell you some examples.
Yes, please.
Of I am. I started off as a coach, and I was locked into my coaching studio from the morning. I would see the sunrise, and then I would see the sun go down. So I did not have the flexibility of earning without being present. I was successful, and I built a successful coaching practice. I was a little bit discontented with the fact that I was chained to a room.
Yeah.
So I started to explore other options. My husband is also an international consultant, but he is more on the organizational transformation leadership side, and he traveled a lot. So that meant I was left at home a lot. That I did not enjoy that. So I started to redesign my life so that it would accommodate the flexibility for me to travel. That started looking like hiring a bigger team. So when I'm not there, my clients are serviced. But then most of my clients still wanted to have some interaction or see my presence. So I started using my knowledge and my expertise to build an online business versus in-house practice. And that allowed me to make more money, to reach people over 29 countries, to empower more women. So I can work from anywhere in the world I desire. And that's what it looks like for me. And now I teach women across the Caribbean, Africa, US, Canada. Those are the places that I am presently supporting, mostly the Caribbean, because I am Caribbean.
Yes.
And that's very exciting because now women are seeing that they can take what's inside of their brain and turn it into a business that's profitable, that gives them financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom.
I love it. One of the things, Shelly, that stood out to me is the whole job on its own. I've oftentimes heard of people that are called life coaches and now financial and business coaches. But what gets you to that point of becoming a coach?
For me, I have a natural desire to help people, whether it was for a purchase order or not. So it was natural to me. I built a performing arts academy on the island, and it blew up beyond me. And of course, when you have to deal with 100+ people every week, you start to see things that you need to learn how to manage: personality differences, cultural differences, and financial statuses. So I started to study human behavior. I also started studying marriage and addictions and all of those things. So I'm certified in multiple fields with regards to coaching. And that was basically to make sure that I was equipped to help my singers sing well, but also to pay attention to all of the life things that were hindering their growth. I fell in love with coaching people with regards to improving their life and personal development. When COVID hit, people came to me to help them formally with building businesses. But I was doing that since 2017. Everybody knew me as a vocal coach, and I didn't want to mix the brands. So I just transitioned. What people didn't know is that I started off in coaching and consulting with my husband because he has a practice that is almost 30 years old, and that's where I started.
Speak with us about your definition of financial stability, time freedom and location freedom?
Well, let's start with location freedom.
All right.
For me, freedom is the ability to work from anywhere you want, whether it is from the beach, from your home office, from another island, a different country. You do have the freedom to travel or to relocate yourself without hindering your ability to earn.
Wow.
When it comes to time freedom, the thing that really motivated me to pursue time freedom, which is also one of the wealth quads, I recognized very early in my career that as a young bride and a young mom, I was not very present in my first child's life. I felt like I was visiting her life. So that made me really pursue time freedom. I wanted the time to be able to be present. I wanted the time to be able to travel. I wanted the time to still be a mom, a wife, a friend, a daughter, a big sister. I needed that time. I did not want to be tied to one space when nobody had access to me for me to earn. When it comes to financial freedom is very important to me, and I see that it's very important to women as well. Because I think that in the Caribbean, our women have gone past just wanting to make money to get by or wanting money to pay the basic bills. I think that we want peace, we want freedom, we want the ability to walk away from abusive situations, abusive relationships. We want the freedom to do what we want with regards to purpose, with regards to our life design, without having to ask anyone permission. We want the freedom to pursue bigger things beyond being bogged down or tied to survival mode. I think our Caribbean women want more than just money.
Can you have time and location freedom without having to hire employees to, what do you say, hold the fort while you are free geographically wise and time wise?
Of course, that's what I do. That's my life. Well, in the age of AI and automation, we set up business systems that practically run our business on autopilot. The automation and the digital infrastructure that we would set up in our businesses, this is what I help women do. And the AI and the automation systems and the software, once you set it up, it runs for you like a well-oiled machine. So that's why I tell women it's important to increase your skill, your knowledge, but also if you want to do this and get time and location freedom, you have to build the back end of your business so that supports your freedom.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting time to be an entrepreneur.
What would you say is the greatest hindrance to women in terms of stepping into this new reality based on conversations you've had with them?
I think there's a resistance to the learning curve, coming out of what is the norm, embracing that this is a new space and we are operating in different ways, especially if they are an employee. Changing the mindset of the employee to that of the entrepreneurship, that's a big hurdle as well. I think that women are also very hesitant to invest in this new digital transformation without really knowing what is the tangible return on investment. I think once we get past those things, they hit the ground running.
Yeah. What type of businesses or entrepreneurs do you recommend or do you invite to come and speak to you to navigate a way to improve on what they already have to enjoy these freedoms that you just described?
My practice has a variety of entrepreneurs. I have gynecologists, I have therapists, I have persons who run retail stores, I have nurses, I have so many different types of entrepreneurs, but I think that it takes on a different framework or a different look based on the business. So the person who has a retail store, the strategy or the approaches that I would give to that person to achieve freedom is not going to be the same as a coach or a consultant.
Right.
So it's not going to get that 100% time and location freedom
Right.
as a coach or a consultant or a service provider, right? But they can have freedom with regards to not having to be bogged down by having to handle pedantic tasks every day. You know, they can take those things off of their hands so that they can do more higher level things. Or just stay home with their husband or their kids.
Yeah. Talk a bit about what the sessions may look like, perhaps the initial sessions when you're engaging a client in one of what I see described there as like a clarity call. I would imagine that speaks for itself, seeking to provide or get to some clarity on a way forward. What would an initial session look like? What are some of the things that would be discussed to create a clear pathway moving forward?
Well, the clarity call, you are correct, is self-explanatory. When you get into my space, most times people don't know how to do what they want to do. And then I have another group of people, they know they don't like how life is going, so they want to know what are their possible options. So some people come to me for a brainstorming session. They really need some guidance as to what is really out there that I can tap into to help change my life. And then there are people who they know I'm a good speaker, I'm a consultant, I'm a gynecologist, I'm a therapist. I know I want to move from the coaching room as a therapist and I want to get on stages. So what I do in a clarity call is first I ask, well, where are you and where do you want to be?
Yeah.
And this is the big part. What is your desired life design? Because everything I do is built around your life design, not what society says is success, not what society says you should do. What will make you excited to get up every day and push through or skip around your home or your office, just thinking about this design. And then we go to work to build a strategy and build out action steps that will take you to that place. Now, the business funds the life design.
Yeah.
And it connects in a smooth, streamlined way.
How much times have you found clients who have suppressed dreams, perhaps desires to accomplish and fulfill certain things, but they're tied down by the job that they have and the time that's controlling them?
Almost every coaching session, there is suppression in one way or the other. Fear of leaving the job, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of expectation, fear of what the family would say, fear of, suppose I leave this stable salary and I jump across here and it flops, of what people will think, you know. I've had people who have left what we call good jobs and decided to pursue dreams and goals that's fulfilling to them, but they were fearful of judgment. I call those success kryptonites. We get to work dealing with them. And once I remove that by smashing those belief barriers and teaching you how to embrace your purpose and moving with full acceleration towards that and exploring your full potential so that you can live the life that you want to live, not what society says. Because remember, success is determined by the person. The joy and the fulfillment is felt by the person. Society doesn't get to tell us what success looks like for us, because that's why we have so many people in jobs they hate, marriages they hate, relationships they hate, because they are fearful of moving towards what makes them happy.
Yeah. You know, if persons are convinced enough, which I am at this point, what's the point that you would present to our viewers to encourage them of the benefit of having someone like yourself, a coach, to listen to what they hope their life design to be, but might be a bit more reserved in sharing that vulnerability?
I think, well, to start with, when you get in the presence of a professional coach, the first thing that I do is ensure that we have our contract signed. What people fail to realize is once we put those contracts in place, now I am legally bound to be quiet about anything you say to me, to anyone. So I have just removed a big barrier. And my personality is one, again, very nurturing, very compassionate. And I focus on a holistic person, not just an entrepreneur. So I'm also skilled and trained to deal with you as a life coach. If you have other issues in your marriage or you have any kind of emotional or behavioral dysfunctions, I can help you with that. I help you to see who you are. So that's the nature of the conversation with me, causes people to drop their guard. That is something that's personal. I can't speak for other coaches. Yeah. On the other hand, so we have the compliance piece that I'm bound to silence. So you can tell me anything and I cannot repeat it. Then you have my natural nature of nurturing and caring and my ability to help you move forward, not just give you a good chat. And the other thing is when you are in the presence of an experienced coach, and I want to make this point, your job as a coach should not, or especially a business coach, you should have built a business and gone through the pain and the challenges, all of it, so that you can help your clients avoid those pitfalls. If you don't know it, you cannot help me avoid it. So that's one of my big pet peeves with this whole coaching industry. If I'm teaching you to build a business, it cannot just be textbook. So the benefit of coaching with someone like me is that you get two. You get someone who has the knowledge, and you also have someone who has the experience coaching, and you also get the benefit of someone who's been building multiple businesses for over 2.5 decades. So there are lots of benefits. I can help you change your mindset so that you can position yourself to propel into your purpose. I can help you manage your life situation so that it doesn't hold you back from moving into your purpose. I can give you the steps, the strategies, the approaches, the tools, the resources that will physically help you build your business. And then I am there as a mentor to help you navigate that whole experience of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and that's important because what I'd also like to know is what the transition period looks like. Is it that you get a breakthrough, if you would, or come to realization and then bam, all of a sudden you're free, you experience this time, location, freedom, financial stability, or is it more of a process where there's an ebb and flow over a period of time, or is it a combination of both?
Well, from my experience, it varies, but there is something that I teach my clients. It's called the psychological journey of entrepreneurship. Right? And I don't want to go into that because it'll take up too much time, but it's like a roller coaster. So first you find your coach, oh my gosh, this is exciting. There are possibilities, you're excited. And then you go up. And then you realize, oh, this is a lot of work. Oh my gosh, can I do that? You go down. And then you have to go up again. So there is this psychological journey of entrepreneurship. But from my experience, it really is dependent on the person. I have had people who have gone from $0 to 6 figures in 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
But has to have some kind of desperation behind it, right? Or urgency behind it. I've also had people who have taken an entire year before they even start taking action. They're not giving up on coaching, they're staying in the communities, they're engaging, but they are growing and developing as people. And I give them that grace. But I also see people who move from 4 figures to 7 figures in 12 months. Again, it is about the individual. It has to do with your familiarity with this space. It has to do with how quickly you learn and embrace and execute information. It has to do with your home situation, your financial situation, right? Everybody don't have the same amount of time. Everybody doesn't have the same amount of money. So there are circumstances that will either hinder the growth or propel and accelerate the growth.
Oh,
Excellent.
This is a fantastic conversation.
Right?
Wow. Right? But unfortunately, we are out of time. Shelly, please, for persons who would like to reach out to you to extend this conversation and find out how they can start their journey to freedom with your coaching, how can they reach you?
They can visit my website and they can book a clarity call with me at www.shelly-acqui.com, or they can send me a direct email at info@shelly-acqui.com, or they can follow me on any of my platforms. I give away free resources, training, and mentorship on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram at Simply Shelly TNT.
Shelly TNT. We will be following you for sure. Thank you so much for joining us, Shelly, and it was a complete pleasure. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.